Hello everyone. Today we are starting our chapter 10, Light, Reflection and Refraction of class 10. Light. Light is a form of energy which helps us to see objects. So I think most of us know this definition. When light falls on objects, it reflects the light and the reflected light reaches our eyes when we see the objects. This is shown in this picture. So where the torch is giving light on this bird, and from bird it is being reflected towards the eye of this girl. After this you can see the next part. The common phenomena of light are formation of shadows. You must have heard in class 6th or 7th. Formation of images by mirrors and lenses, which we will be doing in this chapter. Bending of light by a medium, twinkling of stars, formation of rainbow. All these will be added in this chapter and the next chapter. Now you can see that light has a dual nature of light. Last year we had done that light is a transverse wave. If you remember, light is a transverse wave, which is an magnetic wave which does not require any medium to travel. So this is one nature of light. Then light has a dual nature. Why I have written? Because light has a special nature of a particle also. So you can see nature of light as a wave as well as a particle. So you can see what is happening. If you have a light source and there is a barrier here, the particles produce straight shadows. But if there is a barrier, then it will not be coming from that part. But if you see this kind of structure here in the form of waves, you can see waves bend into the shadow. So if there is a barrier, they will change the path and they will bend. Now, light tends to travel in a straight line. I think in 7th or 6th, you must have done this experiment. You have a cardboard and there are holes. If you displace the holes, you can see this candle light. By displacing, you will not see. And if they are in the aligned form like this, you can see the light. So you can see this experiment also. If you have a straight tube, then you can see the light. But if you have bent tube, then you cannot see the light. Now here we can see that we can generally we see these three phenomena: reflection, absorption and transmission. In reflection, bouncing back of light is there. In absorption, this particular part where the light falls is absorbing the light, and transmission when it passes through it. So you can see this kind of process. And then laws of reflection is our main topic of this chapter. Now, what is reflection of light? Reflection is bouncing back of light when it strikes on a polished surface like a mirror. So, what is a mirror? Which is a polished surface. Now, if you see this particular image formation, or you can see the process of reflection, you can see there is an object here, the incident ray is coming and then reflected, and eye is having that reflection which is there into your vision. Now you can see there are two angles made. So we have laws of reflection. Angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. The incident ray, reflected ray and the normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. You have done it in class 8. I think you remember it now. And regular reflection and the irregular reflection. From the plane mirror, we get the regular reflection. From irregular rough surface, you get the irregular reflection. Image formation by a plane mirror. So you can see I have given so many pictures in it. You can see lateral inversion. You can see here also. And then if you have a point sized object, how the image is formed. You can see object here and image here. Now, what are the characteristics of image? Virtual and direct. Size of image is equal to the size of object. You can see on both the sides, if you measure this distance and this distance, they are equal to one another. They are laterally inverted. What is lateral inversion? You remember the left appears right and right appears left. The image is formed as far behind the mirror as the object in front. So I have already told you that distance. And even the size, you can see the same sizes here. Okay, so you can see that here lateral inversion as well as size is shown. Here also the same thing is done. Now you can see here ambulance. Ambulance is showing lateral inversion. Now you can see the other image formation where there is not, here it is a point sized object, but here it is the extended object, means bigger. So it's a candle. from candle, there are two rays which are coming. First ray is being reflected like this, second ray is being reflected like this, and then if you have that meeting on this side, so you can see that image formation is extended here. There is one meeting on this side and the other meeting, so you get full image of the candle. So you can see here. Now next part. Now we have two kinds of mirrors, plane mirrors and the spherical mirrors. Now spherical mirrors are also categorized into two groups, concave mirror and convex mirror. Also you have done in earlier classes, so I am just repeating how to make it. Spherical mirror is a curved mirror which is a part of a hollow sphere. So if you make a hollow sphere and you cut the part like this and then polish and paint, then you can make a spherical mirror, and it's up to you that which part is to be painted, because you can see the example of your spoon. Inside it's a concave mirror, outside it is the convex mirror. So like this you can compare your mirror which is not available at your home, but you can see it in the spoon. Concave mirror is a spherical mirror whose reflecting surface is curved. So you can see this is a concave mirror and this is a convex mirror, and you can see the reflecting surface is burst out, and this part you can have the image, and behind the mirror you can see it, and here you can see it inside. Now when the rays are coming on this kind of mirror, they are being focused and it's a converging mirror. So they are being converged at a single point. You can see on the other part, and you can see the focus point here. You can see the parallel rays are coming on convex mirror, but they are not being converged, they are being diverged. So you can see a virtual focus on the other side. So that's an imaginary part. So you can see that this is point of focus. So in concave mirror and convex mirror, what you can see is that the rays are appearing to meet here and they are converging to meet here. Now we come to the terms used in the study of spherical mirrors. Center of curvature, radius of curvature, pole, principal axis, principal focus, focal length and aperture. Now I will just tell you in the diagram here. So let us see the first part which we have done is the aperture. You can see AB is the aperture in the diagram. AB is the size. You can see here this size is aperture. Okay, it's the diameter of a mirror. Then you come to pole, which is very important. This is pole. So you can see here that pole point is here on this side, focus point is here on this side, and C is on the other side, C is the center. So if you look at the definition, you can just see the positions here. I am coming back. Center of curvature is the center of sphere of which the mirror is a part, which is known as C. Radius of curvature will be measured from pole. It is the radius of sphere, that is PC or CP. Pole is the center of spherical mirror. Principal axis is a line passing from pole and the center of curvature. In the principal focus in a concave mirror. Now principal focus for concave mirror the definition is different, and for convex mirror the definition is different. In your concave mirror, the rays are coming and they are actually meeting on the principal axis. But in convex mirror, they appear to meet, they divert. In the last diagram which I had shown the slide, that was shown like this. So you have in concave mirror real focus and in convex mirror virtual focus. Then we come to focal length. Focal length is the distance between pole and the principal focus. So it is written as R is equal to 2F and F is equal to R by 2. So vice versa, you can write the definition and its relationship related to the question given. Now aperture is the effective diameter of a spherical mirror, which we had shown here. So you please see this diagram properly, and then we come to the rules. Rules of reflection in a spherical mirror. You can see when a parallel line is coming, parallel ray is coming, it will come to the focus. And if you want to have the angle of incidence and angle of reflection, we can consider a line which is passing from C and it will go towards the mirror here, and it will be reflected back. It will be incident as well as, so you know, it's a normal point. This angle is also normal and this angle is also normal. So you are making an angle of incidence and the angle of reflection. So according to this diagram, the parallel ray was coming. So we get angle I here and angle R here. So then we come to the next diagram, that is the diagram of convex mirror. You can see here it is diverged and now it's meeting here. Same you can do here also. You can join point C and then extend it and you can get the point of angle of incidence, because now we are coming from F, you will get I here and angle R here. So in this way you can complete the diagram. Then we come to the second rule. In the second rule, we have concave mirror, a ray of light passing through the focus. So if you pass it through the focus, it will become parallel. And if you pass it through the focus here, it will be diverged, but virtually it is meeting at F, so it will be diverged. So in this way, you have the reflection. Once again, if you want to have the idea of angle of incidence, you will join this point of C, and then as we are coming from F, that means this is the incident. So you will get angle I here and angle R here. Same here, if you join this point of C here, then you can just have this kind of combination, and again you are getting the same kind of structure here. And once you get it, so here you can see the angle of, because we are coming from focus, this will be angle of incidence and you are having the angle of reflection like this. Now the third rule, if you pass it through C, you can see this, that it will not be having the reflection on any side, it will be reflected back. And you can see, because it's a normal, you know, that is why it is being done. Whenever we are coming at 90 degree like this, it will be reflected back. Whenever a ray of light comes as a normal on the mirror, either plane mirror or a convex, concave mirror, spherical mirror, then it will be diverged back. That's a rule. So you can see here, it will also be doing like this, and then once again, it will be reflected back, and in this way, you can use this rule. Now we come to the last rule. In a concave or convex mirror, a ray of light directly obliquely means at any angle, not the normal. So you will just see, when it comes here, you will first label all the parts, you will take the ray, will pass through pole, and then again you are getting angle I here, angle R here, same is the condition here, okay, and then it will be reflected back, and then once again what you are getting, angle of incidence as well as angle of reflection. Now these rules will be used to make the image formations at different positions. So let us take the case of concave mirror first. Images formed by concave mirror. So first of all, you have to draw your mirror. You will show P, you will show F, and then you will show the object. And what is the condition of the object? It is at infinity. So you will make it very far away, and then bigger object is seen. Now the parallel rays are coming. You have to join this line by dotted line when you draw it in your copy, and then it is the focus point. So you are getting the image at F. So you can see here I have written the characteristics. You are getting it at focus, highly diminished, real as well as inverted. Then you come to the next image formation. When the object is beyond C, the image is formed between C and F. Okay, and now what we have done, we have taken the object beyond C. The ray of light comes, will pass through focus. The second one passing through C, and it will be reflected back. You know, this is the way it is coming like this. So where are we getting the image? You are getting the image here. So you can see that pink color is the image formation. And what are the characteristics we are getting? It's real, inverted, diminished means smaller than size. So you can see it, and then it is between C and F. Now we come to the next image formation when the object is at C. So you can see the object is at C, the parallel ray is there, it will pass through focus. Now if you take the other ray, that means any other rule we can use, because you cannot take it from C. So this will be parallel, and what are you getting? Oh, just it's beyond imagination. So you can see it is of the same size, real and inverted. So you can see on the same position. So you can see what we have got. Let us see once again. So we have got this kind of image formation, same size, real as well as inverted. Now we come to the fourth diagram, when the object is between C and F, you will keep your object between C and F, take a parallel ray, will pass through focus, take another ray, and then it will be formed here, and you are getting your image beyond C. So your image is here. You can see the size, enlarged, real, inverted, and it is beyond C. So this is what is written here. All these are the characteristics. Then we come to the fifth case, when object is at F, and you will get your image at infinity. So you will get a parallel line. So object at F, the ray will pass through like this. Here also it will go like this, will pass through C, it will become parallel, which is infinity. So it will be at infinity, highly enlarged, real and inverted. Now we come to the last case of concave mirror, which gives us virtual image, and virtual as well as erect. So where you will keep it between F and P, and which is the case? Dentist case or shaving mirror. So anything which you want to see erect and bigger, you can keep between F and P. So if you keep it between F and P, parallel ray will come, will pass through focus. Then you can see this line is going towards C, and they are not meeting. So if they are not meeting, then that cannot be infinity. So where are they meeting? They will be virtually meeting. So they will be meeting behind the mirror. So you can see here, you are getting enlarged image. But what is the difference? It is the virtual as well as erect image, so that you can see everything. You don't want your face to be inverted. So this case is specially used for viewing your face or anything bigger. Now we have two cases of convex mirror left now. Convex mirror, as you can see, the F is on the right hand side. So first of all, never do any mistake to draw the diagram. Then we take the object which is at infinity. The parallel rays are coming. It will be diverged. Virtually they are meeting at F. So in this way you are completing your image formation. So what are the characteristics? Behind the mirror, diminished, virtual as well as erect. So basically what we want here, we want a smaller image. That means highly diminished because it is very far away. Now the last case for the mirrors, when the object is between infinity and pole. That means now it's not at infinity, it is between infinity and pole. So suppose you keep your object here, you will take a parallel ray which will be diverged after reflection. It will not meet on this side. You take this ray and that will be towards focus, but virtual focus. Then it will come here, will be reflected back. It is diminished, virtual and erect. So you can see this image formation. Okay, and now what are the uses of concave mirrors? I have given some pictures here. First line which tells us that it is used in torch. So you can see here the structure of a torch. In searchlights that is being used, you see this, how they are being sent by this particular device. Then you can see headlight of a vehicle. You will get a parallel beam. So this is the reason why we are using the concave mirror. Then we have a shaving mirror. You can see here what is happening. Dentist is using it. So you see how the size changes. See this size and this size. Then large concave mirrors are being taken, and then they are concentrating heat to a single point. So they are the solar furnaces. Then we come to the convex mirror. Convex mirrors are used as a rear view mirror in the vehicles. Convex mirrors give erect, diminished image of object, and they give a wider field of view. You can see here trees are coming. If any vehicle is there, that will also come into this. So we have two reasons why we use convex mirror. First, erect and diminished image is formed, and then it is giving us wider field of view. You have other options also for the use of convex mirror. You can see full size of any monument by the convex mirror. You can use it as a spying mirror. Okay, which is being used in some of the shops. Okay, and you can check shoplifting then you can use it in the parking areas where you can see mall parking etc. So these are the other uses of convex mirrors. Now we come to the next article. Next diagram which is there. Which mirror is this? So I think you have got the guess. Okay, you know the answer. So it's a concave mirror. You can see a bigger, erect and virtual image. Now I'm coming to Cartesian sign conventions for a spherical mirrors. Now these Cartesian sign conventions are used for the numerical purpose. So for numerical purpose, we will be needing one formula which is known as mirror formula. But before using it, you should know that how we are using Cartesian sign conventions, which is based on graph. Now you can see in this particular diagram, we have pole here. You know it that there is a pole here, and on this pole, if you just compare it with your graph, you can see the origin here. So you can have an origin, you can see on the left hand side, you can see on the right hand side, and once you get the pole here, so you can just write pole here, and then if you want you can write F and C if it is required. Otherwise you just say that first point where you can start with the first Cartesian sign convention. The object is placed on the left hand side of the mirror. Okay, and light falls from the left hand side, so left to right. So you can see the object is kept always on the left hand side. All the distances are measured from pole. That's why pole is very important. All the distances on the left hand side are negative. All the distances on the right hand side and are always positive. Then you can see the height. See the object kept on the principal axis. This height is always plus, and if it is downward, which is inverted, then the size will always be negative. So it will be actually possible even in the convex mirror. If you draw convex mirror here, same sign conventions are followed. Now you can see the mirror formula which we'll be using. Now for mirror formula, I just want to mention here that we are using now the symbols V and U. And you remember we had used them in 9th also for initial velocity and final velocity. But here you can see when we are writing the distances on left hand side, that was the object which was there. Okay, if you just have the object on this side, then the distance between object and the pole. So just see this. This will be always U and this will always be V. So you can see here once again, the image distance is V and object distance is U. So the mirror formula is expressed by using V, U as well as focal length. 1 upon V plus 1 upon U is equal to the 1 upon F. And if you look at the magnification, means whether your image is big or small, then magnification is the main factor. In magnification, we have two formulas. One, if height is given, then height of the image and height of the object. If anything is missing, you can find it out with this formula. So if you write magnification as M, like in NCERT book, they have used the symbol H dash upon H, or you can write height of image and height of object. Magnification is also related to the object distance and the image distance, which is expressed as M is equal to HI upon HO, and then it will be equal to minus V upon U. Sometimes your question does not give you the value of this, and you know these values. Then automatically you can use this formula and you can get the magnification. Now once you do that, after completion of this, we have some relationships. Now if you just have the answer for M and it is greater than 1, then the image will be enlarged. If M is smaller than 1, then the image will be diminished, or you can have the ratio also, maybe 2 by 3 times, maybe 0.6 times. So it will be less than 1, so it will be diminished. And if it is equal to 1, then it will be same size. So these are three options. Then it is very important to mention here the sign of M. M can be positive, M can be negative. So if you have positive sign, then you will get virtual and erect image. And if M is negative, then you can have the real as well as inverted image. So from this only you will be finding out that which kind of image is formed, what kind of magnification is there, what happens to the size. So when you use it numerically, you will get all the information given here. So that's all. Then I will be coming in the next session with the lenses and the refraction.